You can't be trying to recover from anxiety but still doing these 5 things. Welcome to yet another is it recording? Yeah. Welcome to yet another episode of ARA, Anxiety Recovery with Albright. If you're new here or you're seeing me for the first time, my name is Madeline Albright, and Albright is an ex-anxiety sufferer who uses her own experience of suffering and recovery to help others who are still struggling. So whether you are struggling with health anxiety, generalized anxiety disorder, social anxiety, OCD, depression, panic disorders, agoraphobia, any type of anxiety disorder, you are in the right place. If you have not yet subscribed yet, I would urge you to watch this video up to the end. If you feel like this video is valuable, kindly hit that subscription button. Subscription is free. No one will ask you for any money. The only thing with subscription that it helps grow the channel, and also anytime I post a new video, you'll be able to get notified. Otherwise, let's get into the video. You can't say that you are practicing the principles of anxiety recovery. You are accepting your symptoms, you are allowing the symptoms to be there, you are living your life, you are exposing yourself to your fears, you have stopped performing the second fears, but you are still doing these 5 things. These 5 things are keeping you stuck with anxiety. Like literally, stop doing these 5 things if you want to recover from anxiety. The first thing that you should stop doing when you're trying to recover from anxiety is asking others if they are experiencing a certain symptom. Asking others if they are experiencing a certain symptom is the same as Googling your symptoms. They are a form of reassurance. Is this also anxiety? Have you experienced this specific symptom? The thing here is, once you have been to the doctors, once you have been clear that there is nothing wrong with you, any symptom that you experience after that, it is anxiety, and you should place it under the anxiety umbrella. What you are doing when you're asking others, like, have you experienced this specific symptom? Have you experienced this heart palpitation? Have you experienced this dizziness? Is that you are teaching your brain that it cannot be independent. It needs an external reassurance for it to survive. You're teaching your brain that these symptoms need solving, and this keeps you stuck with anxiety because you can't, recovery comes from within. Recovery, you don't need something external to recover. Recovery comes from within. Even if you join my coaching program, I always tell you guys that I am not giving someone anything external. We are not doing, breathing exercises, medication, supplements. No, I'm not going to recommend a product for you to go and use. I'm only guiding you out of the anxiety cycle. I'm only teaching you to be able to be in the midst of these symptoms. I'm teaching you how anxiety causes these symptoms, what you should do immediately you experience the panic attack, immediately you experience the physical symptoms, how you should respond to anxiety. Recovery is from within. So the moment you're Googling your symptoms, you're asking others, have you experienced this symptom? Have you experienced this symptom? You're teaching your brain that these symptoms only need solving. So every time, and have you noticed that every time you seek, reassurance, the reassurance doesn't even last for 10 minutes. It's always like, let me ask this one too, let me ask this one too, because your brain is always craving for that short-term relief. Asking others if they experience a certain symptom that you're experiencing keeps you stuck with anxiety, because your brain will always be craving for that short-term relief. So your brain doesn't have that space to be independent. Are you getting my point? So asking others about a specific symptom is a form of reassurance seeking, which keeps you stuck in the disordered cycle of anxiety. Therefore, stop right now as we are talking. Another thing that is you should stop when trying to recover from anxiety is checking your symptoms. You are constantly monitoring yourself. Yesterday I was having a headache. Today, how am I feeling? Am I able to go out? Like, you are letting anxiety determine your day. You are constantly monitoring the symptoms. And if you have learned about anxiety, you will realize that anxiety recovery happens when you stop monitoring your symptoms, when you let go, when you let the symptoms be. It doesn't matter what you're feeling today, it doesn't matter what you were feeling yesterday. When you let go, constantly checking in, constantly checking for that specific symptom, constantly monitoring your symptoms signifies the brain that there is danger. These symptoms are dangerous. It is a threat, and therefore you don't want them. And this keeps your nervous system in a state of high alert. This is a common behavior for most anxiety sufferers. Always checking, am I still experiencing the heart palpitations? Am I still experiencing the feelings of unreality? To that, your brain senses that these symptoms are danger. That's why you keep on checking. You don't want them. And this keeps your nervous system in a state of high alert, therefore keeping you stuck with anxiety. Recovery happens when you lose interest in those symptoms, when you literally don't care whether you're having the heart palpitations, when you can be able to sit in the discomfort. Because why are you monitoring? Why are you monitoring yourself? It's simply because you don't want those symptoms. You're checking if you're still having the dizziness, if you're still having the heart palpitation, because you don't want them there. And that one does not lead you to recovery, because you are constantly keeping your nervous system in a state of high alert by constantly checking your symptoms, by constantly monitoring yourself. How are you going to let go when you're constantly monitoring yourself? How are you gonna let go? It's like checking you had this romantic relationship and you broke up with your ex. You are constantly checking them. You are checking who they are dating now. You are constantly passing through their social media platforms. How are you gonna let go if you're constantly monitoring them? It's just like healing from a breakup. You have to let go of this person. You have to say it is what it is, and you literally don't care about them. That's how healing from a breakup happens. You feel what needs to be felt, but you let go of this person. There, you don't check their social media platforms. You don't try to see how they're doing. You don't try to have call them or whatever you do. It's about letting go. Constantly monitoring, constantly checking signifies the brain that these symptoms are a threat and keeps your nervous system in a state of high alert. The third thing that is keeping you stuck in the anxiety cycle is suppressing any thought. We are in the third thing, right? The third thing that is keeping you stuck in the anxiety cycle, that is stopping you from recovering, is trying to suppress a thought. You can't try to suppress a thought. Right now, when I tell you that, don't think of a pink elephant, haven't you thought of a pink elephant? Because it's just like you can't try to suppress a thought. Trying to suppress a thought means you are engaging that thought, and your brain sends you more of that thought, because your brain says, okay, this is the thought that it is important to her, to him, because these are the thoughts that you're giving attention. Trying to suppress a thought is engaging a thought. Trying to suppress a thought, trying to stop a thought, trying to make a thought go away is a form of engaging a thought. You can't try to stop a thought. You can't try to suppress a thought. Carl Jung says that what you resist persists and may even grow in size. Have you ever noticed that thought that you don't want, that thought that you're always trying to stop, always comes frequently and with more intensity? It is because of your action. You're trying to stop it. You can't try to stop a thought. Trying to stop a thought, your brain rewards you with more of that thought, because it says that's the thought that is important, that's the thought that you're engaging with. So you're gonna have more of that thought. I understand anxiety thoughts can be they are scary. No, they can't be. They are scary. They are obsessive. You're having these thoughts since yesterday up to today, and you want them gone. But the irony, the paradox of anxiety is that if you try to make it go away, the more it clings upon you, the more it stings. So the best way to let go of a thought is to let it be. Is not to try and suppress it. Make peace with those thoughts. With your brain, with the anxious thoughts, muddy water is best cleared by leaving it alone. I don't know if you understand that saying. Muddy water is best cleared by leaving it alone. If you are playing in this muddy water, it will stir up. That's what, it will be dirty. See, anxious thoughts are just mere thoughts. Let them play in the background. Anxious thoughts are not who you are. They are a result of a tired mind. See them as just that. When I started seeing my thoughts, when I started seeing the anxious thoughts as just background noise, they faded away. I want to give you a very good example. Let's say you are in the house and doing the house chores, and the radio is playing in the background. The radio is playing. Let the radio play. The radio is playing and you're busy doing your thing. Will you notice that the radio is off? You won't notice, because you are busy doing the hustles. You are busy with real life, in real things. With anxiety, you are busy with real things in real life. Just treat those thoughts as a radio playing in the background. The moment that radio shuts off, you'll just be like, you'll feel this moment of calm, this intense peace. That's how to treat anxious thoughts. They are not who you are. They are a result of a tired mind, because pre-anxiety, you never used to have those thoughts, whether it's harm thoughts, whether it's sexual thoughts, whether it's these scary thoughts, whether it's thoughts making you feel like you're a very bad person. They are thoughts of a tired mind, and because you're afraid of them, your brain is bringing you more of those thoughts. Don't try to suppress any thought. It is keeping you stuck with anxiety. Another thing that you should stop doing when trying to recover from anxiety is obsessing about how long recovery takes. This one, I think I talked about it in the previous video. Obsessing about how long recovery takes creates pressure to the already sensitive nerves, and your sensitive nerves, they need calm. They don't need pressure. So if you put pressure, when am I going to recover? It's this time, but I've still not recovered from anxiety. You're just creates stress, it creates worry, and therefore builds pressure to your already sensitized nerves. Let go. And what helped me, the idea of accepting that was me temporarily, helped in ebbing the symptoms away. Now I was not focused on, I'm still having these symptoms. How long will these symptoms go away? I just let go. And when you let go is when recovery happens. Recovery happens when you let go. When you stop monitoring, when you stop obsessing about how you feel, when you stop obsessing about how long recovery is gonna take. Let go of how long recovery is gonna take. It is keeping you stuck with anxiety. Putting a timeline on your recovery signifies the brain that this is danger, and it keeps your nervous system in a state of high alert. The fifth and the last thing that you should stop when trying to recover from anxiety is fleeing away from anxiety-provoking situations. If you have been in this, if you have followed me for a long time, or if you have been watching my videos, I avoid using the word triggers, and I find that a lot of people, like when they join my program, they always like using the word triggers, and for me that is a word that I always shy, like I don't talk about the word triggers, because when I say trigger to someone, this is my trigger, this person is my trigger, this food is my trigger, I can't go to these places because it's my trigger. And one of the keys to recover from anxiety is exposing yourself to those things that you consider triggers, those things that you consider that are provoking your anxiety. Sit in the fire. It is very common for anxiety sufferers, when anxiety becomes overwhelming, they want to run away, they want to flee away from situations. Maybe they are in social situations, maybe they are in a supermarket, maybe they are they are driving, they want to flee away from this situation, which is very natural, because with anxiety you might feel like, okay, what if I have a panic attack when I'm at this place? What if I faint? What if this dizziness intensifies and it develops into something else? So it is very common, and it is not like you are running away from these situations because you used to go to these places pre-anxiety. People do go to these places. You are actually running away from yourself because of how your nerves are reacting to these situations. And for you to be able to retrain your mind, because we're in the process of rewiring our brains, we are in the process of retraining our brains. For you to be able to retrain, for you to be able to rewire your brain, you have to sit in these places, because you have to prove your brain that even if you sit in these places, there is nothing bad that is going to happen to you. At first, even me, I was like, I couldn't stand, and it is one of those things that led me to be agoraphobic, because I couldn't stand being in a social situation. I couldn't stand a conversation. Conversation just felt tiring to me. I couldn't stand, being in the malls. I couldn't stand being in the market, because those places used to trigger my anxiety. And it is not that there is something wrong with these places. It is how I had retrained my mind. We are trying to develop new pathways to our brain. So for you to be able to retrain your brain, you have to sit in the discomfort. You have to sit in the fire. You have to show your brain that, really, can you stop sending me those alarms, because I don't need them. I can be able to handle this situation. So the next time you are going to approach these situations, you're not going to experience as intense anxiety because of how you responded last time. Stop reacting and start responding. Fleeing from these situations only proves to your brain that there is danger, and this keeps your nervous system in a state of high alert. I know anxiety is uncomfortable. I know you feel like, okay, what if something? Stay in that state. Stay in that state, because the only way out is through. You can't white knuckle, you can't go around it. You have to stay in that specific situation. So the 5 things that you should stop when trying to recover from anxiety: fleeing from anxiety provoking situations, constantly scanning your symptoms, asking others if they have experienced that specific symptom that you're struggling with, obsessing about how long recovery is gonna take, and attempting to suppress your thoughts. Those 5 things, you should stop them when trying to recover from anxiety. If you have watched up to this point, make sure to like, a thumbs up for this video, comment down below if there is anything that you'd like me to talk about and the behavior that is currently keeping you stuck with anxiety. Share this video to other people who may need it. If you find it valuable, share, and also subscribe to this channel because it helps the channel grow. Remember, I have a coaching program where I help people overcome anxiety disorders permanently. You feel like you need to let go of this anxiety subject, feel like you need to get your life back from anxiety. Anxiety has wasted your time, and it is time to regain your life back from anxiety. I help you understand what is happening, how to be able to go through those, those intense emotions, how to be able to respond to your anxiety, the exact method that I use to recover from anxiety. When I'm doing these videos, when I'm talking like this, I'm just talking generally. I don't know about your specific situations, but when we are able to do the one-on-one calls and I understand your specific situation and I tell you exactly how to go about that specific situation of yours, then you'll be able to get your life back from anxiety. You don't have to figure out all these things on your own, and I'm here. The best person who can help you is someone who has worn the shoe of anxiety. Even with doctors, when you try to explain to them, okay, this is how I feel, they give you pills, they tell you this is, you have to cope, you have to manage. Therapists ask you about, your childhood trauma. The best person to help you, and I always, even if it is not me, someone else who has gone through anxiety, someone else who has worn the shoe of anxiety is the best person to help you. And so if you need help from someone who has recovered from anxiety, who has worn that shoe and has been able to come out on the other side of fear, use this WhatsApp or this email to reach out to me. Otherwise, let's meet on the next one. Bye.